In 2025, 64% of all study permit applications were rejected, and that's up from 52% in 2024. And that means that more than half of the people who applied to study in Canada were rejected. And the same scrutiny applies even if you're extending your study permit from inside Canada. Now, in the last video, I walked through what I would do if I were starting over in Canada in 2026 after coming as an international student back in 2014. And I clearly said that if I followed the same plan that I did when I just came, it wouldn't work for me. I'd have to study a second program, I'd have to figure out how to pay for it, and the work doesn't just stop there. Because once you decide to go back to school, the next thing you have to figure out is the paperwork. So in this video, we're going to talk about why study permit applications get rejected, how to reduce your risk through our sponsors platform, Student Visa Express, and a step-by-step walkthrough of how to extend your study permit from inside Canada. So make sure you watch to the end. Let's get into it. Now, if you're new here, I'm Christina McPherson, and welcome to As Told by Canadian Immigrants. This is part 2 of a video series where I kind of walk through what I would do differently if I came to Canada now in 2026 to help you make more informed decisions on navigating Canada's immigration system today. Now, this video is about execution, but first things first, why do the permits get rejected anyway? Now, a lot of people think that, well, I'm already in Canada, I already proved to them, I already got a study permit, so it should be easy peasy, right? Wrong. Every time IRCC has to make a decision on an application, they have to assess it as if it were new, as if you were new and you are a candidate that needs to now be assessed for approval. They also have to be very satisfied that you are a temporary resident, and not only that, but that you understand that you are a temporary resident and you will comply with those conditions. Now, wanting Canadian experience after graduation is normal and very okay. Hoping to apply for permanent residency one day after you finish studying is very okay too. In fact, that's called dual intent. So you have the intentions and you're here as a temporary resident. You then have a future intention of becoming a permanent resident. But what's important about that is that you can convince them that you understand that if permanent residency doesn't happen, you will leave. You will comply with the conditions of your current status, which is as a temporary resident. If the visa officer isn't satisfied that PR isn't the only acceptable outcome for you and that you will leave, they will refuse your visa. In fact, in 2024, 75% of all study permit refusals were for this one reason. The officer was not convinced that you will leave at the end of your temporary status here in Canada. And so therefore, your application is refused. How many people got that? Ding, ding, ding. And this matters even if you're extending your permit from inside Canada. In fact, it matters a little bit more because you're going to school for a second time. Why are you going to school for a second time? Why didn't you have this as part of your initial study plan, right? You need to be able to tell a whole story. IRCC is going to look at the full story and make sure that it comes all together. Now, here are some more reasons for student visa rejections, because temporary intent is one of the biggest reasons, but rarely is it just one reason. Here are some other reasons why study permit applications get rejected. 1, proof of funds. You know this one, right? You need to convince the visa application officer that you are able to sustain yourself while you're in Canada. 2, a weak or vague reason for continuing studies. Why are you studying the second program that has nothing to do with your previous program? I don't recommend that, of course. You need to tell a full story. How does this now play into your current plan, and what does it do for you now to be able to progress as an individual, whether you're inside of Canada or outside of Canada? But of course, you're going to show that you have intentions of leaving the people in them country. A weak or not so clear study plan and letter of explanation. And this goes back to the reason of the weak or vague reason. It's going to come out in your explanation, letter of explanation. What are you putting in that explanation? What is your study plan? What are your future intentions? Missing documentation or inconsistent documents. Remember that if this is an extension, they have already seen a study permit application from you in the past, which means that the information that you need to put on this application needs to be consistent with whatever you've shown previously, plus any new information since that application. But don't change anything. Don't change anything. Okay, misrepresentation, it'll definitely get you kicked out of Canada. Okay, gaps in your status or applying too late, like they need to be able to see progression between the last, when they ask the last couple of years, to know if there's any thing or any time in between that you didn't do anything, you were unemployed or whatever. Put that. Don't have any gaps in your timeline. And one of the biggest reasons that you can be sure, for sure, guaranteed that you're going to get a red flag rejection for is if you're not following the conditions of your previous or current permits. If you're a student, there's X amount of hours that you can work, there's X amount of work that you can do or types of work that you can do. If you have medical conditions or restrictions, don't be in an occupation that you're not allowed to be in. If your employer doesn't see that you're not allowed to work in healthcare or you're not allowed to work in education on your permit, the onus is on you to know the conditions of your work permit, not just the employer. So make sure that you're complying with the conditions on your permit, where you can work, where you can't work, how long you can work for. Don't change your program, don't change your school, don't do anything that you're not supposed to do without informing them or asking for permission to do it. Okay. And now, one single issue might not be the breaking point for your application, but certainly a combination of these is almost guaranteed risk for rejection. IRCC is not looking at your extension like a renewal. Okay. Yes, they have some information to base your application off of, but it still is a new application. They have to make a new decision based on the current trends, based on the current politics, and based on who you are as an applicant today and your whole entire plan. Your application has to tell a full story. Your age, your finances, your education path, and plans matter more now, not less, the second time around. And this is something that you can assess through our sponsors platform. So our sponsor today is Immigrant Global AI, and they have a platform called Student Visa Express that helps you to analyze your risks for rejection, how to improve your risks, helps you to structure your explanation letter. All these things that we're talking about, risk for refusal, they help you to identify them and fix them. And we're going to talk more about them soon. I'm going to do a walk when we do the step-by-step walkthrough. But first, let's talk about timing. When should you apply? Do you need a provincial attestation letter again? How much money do you need to show? And what documents do you need now that you're already inside Canada? So first, timing. And this matters way more than a lot of people think. Now, processing time is going to vary based on when you are applying. But most certainly you want to be applying for this extension at least 30 days before your current one expires. What's very critical is that you are applying before your current permit expires. Now, a helpful exercise is to check the processing time on IRCC's website. You are currently trying to apply for temporary residence from a study permit from inside Canada. What is the processing time? And right now it's saying 7 weeks. Note that this is updated weekly. So even though you're watching this video, it doesn't mean that it's 7 weeks today. Go and check for yourself what is the processing time. But understand that this processing time doesn't include mailing the study permits out to you in the mail, right? So you want to add a little bit of a buffer. If you could add 2 to 3 weeks to this, that would be ideal. But at minimum, make sure that you're applying at least 30 days before your permit expires. Now, what happens if you've submitted an application and your current permit expires? That would put you on what's called maintained and what used to be called implied status. It means that your status is being maintained throughout this process, even though it is expired, because you've applied before it expired, and you can continue under the same conditions until a decision is made on a new application. Okay, but you definitely don't want to leave Canada when you are on maintained status. You void maintained status if you leave Canada. And don't take it from me. Disclaimer, this is for information purposes only. Let's jump over to IRCC's page to see what they say exactly about this condition. If you are in Canada and leave as a student on maintained status, you will lose your ability to study when you return. And this goes the same for working. Okay, that means that you can't study until your application is approved. So you want to be making sure that be on a maintained status, stay in Canada, wait until the other application is approved. Now, question number 2, do you need a new provincial attestation letter? I would be asking that question, certainly. And this is a common point of confusion. Now, there are certain exceptions and exemptions from people who need a new provincial attestation letter. If you're staying at the same school and studying at the same level of studies, you do not need a new attestation letter. But as of January 2025, if you are changing schools, so you're changing your designated learning institution number and or changing the level of study, then you need a new provincial attestation letter. And there are certain exemptions that apply, and they're all available on IRCC's website. So IRCC has it clearly on their website when to get a PAL, who needs a PAL, and who does not need a provincial attestation letter. So they'll tell you when you should get a provincial attestation letter. They'll tell you when you don't need to get a provincial attestation letter. And here's where it's talking about a study permit extension. Okay. So if you've entered Canada and one of the following conditions applies to you, you're applying for a study permit extension at the same DLI and level of studies as your current permit. If you are changing DLI, changing level of studies, you may need to apply for a new provincial attestation letter. But note that it talks about validity period of your provincial attestation letter. So depending on where you are, I mean, if your provincial attestation letter is expired, you have to double check to make sure that you are even able to just continue studying for it to matter for your work permit. So there's all kinds of exemptions that you need to think about. But most importantly, check IRCC's website based on your conditions to see if you need a new provincial attestation letter. Now, money. How much money do you need? Now, on IRCC's page about how to extend your status as a student, they do address this in their updates to financial requirements. And here's what they say very clearly. If you're applying for a study permit extension, the new financial requirements apply to you. However, we will assess whether you have enough money to continue to support yourself while you study in Canada. Now, I just love when they're not super clear about what they will say yes or no to, because this sentence is saying that they're not going to assess you based on a minimum or maximum amount necessarily because of that however in the sentence. But does this applicant realistically or is this applicant realistically able to sustain themselves in Canada and to continue studying? So the officers have some discretion, but in a perfect world, you'd be showing that you have that 1 year's worth of cost of living requirements and or some sort of support to show that you're going to be continuing to live somewhere, you can afford to eat, you can afford transit. Okay, so if you need some help with that, always get together with an immigration consultant. I'm not going to tell you not to have the money that they say to have, the $22,000, but there is some discretion based on that sentence. Do with that what you may. And your documents. So high level, of course, there's going to be the study permit application form, right? But at minimum, you also need that letter of acceptance from that new school. You need that before you apply for your extension. You're going to need your letter of enrollment from your current school. You're going to need to show proof of funds that you can sustain yourself and whether you need a provincial attestation letter or not, or you're going to be applying with the one that you already have. And then, like I said, the story has to come together. Your letter of explanation and study plan needs to all come together to pull that application together. And this is where Student Visa Express comes in. So I like Student Visa Express because it's looking at your application as if a visa officer would before you submit your application. And it's going to help you identify things like your potential red flags. So see, I have some potential red flags here. It's going to help you to structure your letter of explanation. It is going to help you to organize your proof of funds and supporting documents. And it helps you to keep your story consistent across forms. So all in this platform that doesn't guarantee approval, but it surely increases your chances. And if you use the Student Visa Express platform through and through to get your application submitted and you still have your application refused, they will refund you your platform fees. They're that confident in their ability to help you to get through and have your application approved. So now let's do a step-by-step application walkthrough of how to extend your study permit from inside Canada and how Student Visa Express can help you to get your explanation letter and statement of purpose done. Now, first things first, you can only do this online. No flag polling is allowed anymore. You can't stay in Canada, drive to the border, get a permit and come back. That is no longer allowed. Once you're inside Canada, you need to be doing this as an online application. So let's go over to IRCC's portal, and this is going to be the same place that you submitted your initial study permit. So here we go. We're going to do start an application, which is apply to come to Canada. Now your view might look a little bit different because you probably have some applications applications or something in progress here. We're going to go apply to come to Canada. You don't have a reference code, so we're going to go to determine your eligibility to apply online for a visit visa, study, and or work permit. So these are some step-by-step questions that are going to just determine that you are actually eligible and what do you need to apply, right? So we're going to go through this real quick. So we're going to study for more than 6 months, temporarily more than 6 months, and you are from what country, and you are currently a resident, likely, right? Because we're talking about an extension from inside Canada, and you don't have any Canadian citizen relatives, and you were born at some day then. Okay, do you have a provincial attestation letter or meet the exemption? So you can say yes, I have a provincial attestation letter, right? Or if you are exempt, you can say you're exempt. But if you have one already from your current studies, then you do that. They do have a little explanation here for you to get more information, so you can go and see if you need a new PAL or if you require a PAL at all. So which province or territory is your provincial attestation letter for? Ontario. Are you a lawful permanent resident or of the US? You are currently a student in Canada and you are changing a DLI. If you're changing a DLI because you're studying now at Niagara College instead of studying at George Brown, then of course it's going to be a yes, and if not, you are not. Now you can put whatever you are in terms of your marital status, and you are spending most of your time in Ontario, if that is your case. Okay, so now your results, you are able to apply for a study permit inside Canada. Okay, you can also apply for a temporary resident visa. Know that a permit and a visa are two different things and serve two different purposes, and that video is going to be coming up soon, so look out for that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to get notified when that video drops. But we're focusing on a study permit right now, and we're almost there. It says answer a few more questions. Are you accompanying a family member who has status in Canada? For simplicity, we're going to say no. Do you want to apply for your work permit? And that's for people who have like a co-op program. So in case your program is going to be co-op, then you're going to say yes to that. And if not, my program was a cybersecurity program that actually did have co-op, right? So I'm going to say yes because it had 3 semesters. It was $27,000, right? So for my cybersecurity program, it does have a co-op. I'm going to say yes. Now, when does your status in Canada expire? My status expires in 2026 in August, right? It expires in August 2026. And do you have a medical exam currently? So I'm going to say no because I don't. Now, this is something that you can do a medical exam for so that when you get your work permit, you don't have the restrictions that you can't work in certain occupations, and usually that's because of medical reasons. You can't work in healthcare, even if you're like an admin in healthcare or an admin in education. If you can do an upfront medical, I'd suggest doing it. So we're going to say no to that. I don't need that for my cybersecurity. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, guys, just go watch that previous video about how I went through a program selection and decided to choose another program. So do I need am I working in any of these occupations? No. And do I want to submit an application for a family member? I'm a single applicant. I have no family members. Are you giving someone access to your application? That's if you have a representative or you're getting help from somebody. And have I taken fingerprints, which I usually probably did because I did it for my first application to come to Canada. And will you be paying your fees? Yes. Can I make digital copies of my application? And can I pay with a credit card or something online here? Perfect. So you want to go through, make sure you put in the right information, make sure everything is right. Right. This is me now extending my study permit because now I'm going to finish project management and I'm going to go and study at a different school. In fact, I should go in and say, yes, I am changing my designated learning institution. So are you residing in Canada? And who's yes? I'm going to say yes to this. Yes, I am changing my designated learning institution because I was studying at Humboldt and now I'm going to be studying at George Brown to do cybersecurity. So you want to review your answers, make sure that you have all the information correct, and then we're going to go to continue. And it's going to give you the step-by-step of the things that you need to do but it's also going to take me to where I can upload all of my documents. Okay, so I am going to need a provincial attestation letter because I'm changing designated learning institution. So I do need to apply for a new one. Okay. If you're not changing school and you're not changing the level of studies, remember, you don't need one. But if you are unsure, speak to an immigration consultant or go and check on the website. So I'm going to need my co-op letter, which is part of my application that I would get from George Brown to say that, okay, I'm going to be in cybersecurity now. And client information is where the story needs to come together, right? This is where now I have a associate's degree in computer science. I have a bachelor's in this. I have this postgraduate, and now I want to seal the deal and become a cybersecurity specialist. Here's how it all works, right? And this is where now Student Visa Express is going to help me. Now the application form is pretty standard here. They're going to give you the opportunity to open it up. You want to right click and save. And IRCC always has instructions to help you to figure out how to save this, how to fill out this form, right? So you want to get that done. Go through that application. Make sure you're doing a good job at following the instructions on how to do that. So inside Student Visa Express, you're going to walk through basically like a profile setup to help you to tell them to understand who you are as an applicant. So you want to be very accurate in this information, who you are and what you're interested in, where you are applying from, where you've worked in the past, how much you've made, your family, your education, employment, and your previous travel history, right? So once those things are done and you complete your profile, it's going to give you your overall red flags. Now, this is where you want to say, okay, starting now, how do I address my red flags? I don't have enough money, right? Have I ever overstayed? Can I do an explanation? And my statement of purpose, okay? And here it's telling me what my refusal rate is for my country. So I'm from Jamaica, even though I'm in Canada. Right now, Jamaica has a 32% refusal rate. And this is something that you can check on the platform without even going in. What's your refusal rate? And see, even though like there's some red flags here, there are also some not so red flags, but still some sort of a risk. So it's going to help to identify gaps in your application. You know, being single raises questions about your intentions to return home. How can you satisfy them that you're going to leave when it's time to go back? Do you have a job offer or some sort of something holding you back to your country so that you will go back? And so the goal here now for the SOP builder is to help you now to say, okay, here's who I am, here's my educational background. Why am I studying in Canada to begin with? Well, just because, you know, it's super awesome here and I've earned it has an exceptional reputation, right? It's culturally diverse. This is my study program. Why this study program? Why did I do project management? Because it seamlessly goes with my application history, right? And so when you put in the information in terms of all the education that you have, it should be able to help you to come up with this information. Why not study in your home country? What is going to be the return on your investments? What are the ties to your home country and the finances and sponsorship to support this? Have I ever overstayed? What is it like for me to understand my temporary status? So this is something that Student Visa Express is going to help you to create, to add to your application. So let's really quickly flip back to the application and the application form to go over some of the key points that you need to pay attention to with this application. So this is the form as it is. I downloaded it straight from IRCC's website. You know, you click the button, right click and save, and you're going to be doing the first one here because it asks, I'm applying to do one of the following: applying for a study permit for the first time or extending your study permit. And that's what you're going to do. Now, if your status expired and you need to go back now and restore your status as a student, that's what you're going to do. But I'm going to tell you something very, very, be cautious about your plans if your permit already expired, to make sure that that gap in studies is still going to make you eligible for a longer post-graduation work permit at the end of it. That's something that you have to check out really critically, because gaps in your studies, going part-time, different things can affect the entire eligibility of your post-graduation work permit, right? So if you're restoring status, make sure that you're working with an immigration consultant or legal representative to make sure that your plan is going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. So you're applying to study or extend your permit for the first time. And that's the most critical thing to be putting on here in your application. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Remember, now you want to make sure that it is consistent with all previous applications, right? It's asking you basic information. Where's your country of residence? Right now you are residing in Canada as a temporary resident. So you can put status. You are a student currently in Canada, and that's fine, from the date that you are to the future date when your status expires. Very basic information about you as an applicant. So you want to go ahead and fill this out, double check, triple check, make sure you're checking it against all previous forms that look just like this, okay? If you've been refused, say yes, talk about the refusal and that it was subsequently overturned and approved. Make it such that they understand that you have a full story here and there's no gaps in your story. Now, if you're getting a student loan, as per the previous video, generally your provincial attestation letter is something that is resolved within that same application. The school application, the PAL, and the loan all happens within that platform. So just go watch that video if that's the route that you're taking. If not, and you are applying to school all on your own, you're working now on extending your permit, you have to contact your school for that provincial attestation letter and ask them how to get it. Remember, this is only if you're changing designated learning institution and or you are changing your level of studies. And if you're unsure, find out if you need a PAL from your school. I use the PAL, Provincial Attestation Letter, PAL. So Student Visa Express is going to help you to figure out what your letter of explanation is going to be. It's going to help you to figure out the documents that it suggests that you upload for financial support, and it's going to help you to write that explanation letter and statement of purpose. So you want to be going through Student Visa Express, identify and resolve your red flags, get your letter written, get your documents uploaded. It's going to ask you for all of the documents that it believes that you need based on the information that you give it. So you want to be very accurate with the information. See, it's asking for bank statements, proof of financial capability of sponsor, because I believe I put that my family is sponsoring me, any community involvement to your home country, bank statements, travel history, visa refusal letter. And what it does is, after you've uploaded all of these, you can download all of your documents. So this is kind of the process, right? So if right now you are preparing for this, let us say you are waiting for that process to happen to get your loan, to get admissions to the school, you can start this process now. You're not going to submit an application, of course, but go into Student Visa Express, put in your profile. Now, if you already used Student Visa Express in the past, you can go in and you can update your profile with new information now that you're choosing to study a second program. So you want to go to immigration profile here. You can go to edit my information and you can go ahead and change any of the information. Now, education, now you've finished studying in Canada. You want to say, I hold a bachelor's in agricultural studies and associate's degree in computer science. You want to study now cybersecurity based on what I said, so that the information will refresh. But certainly if you're doing it for the first time, be very accurate with this information so that the information that it outputs is accurate to you. So, and then go ahead and start collecting your documents. The beauty of this is that it's basically like a document manager. It's going to allow you to upload what you need, right? You don't need it right now for IRCC. You're going to need that at the end, but upload what you have as time goes by. So get your admissions letter from your current or the program that you're currently in or just finished, right? Go get your bank statements. Go get your asset ownership in your country. Upload it, upload it, upload it. When you get your provincial attestation letter and your admissions to the school, you come back, you upload it as well, and then you download all, and it will be in a nice folder ready for you to go to IRCC's page over here And then when you click upload file, you're going to go to that same folder that you just downloaded from Student Visa Express. So it's very seamless in the way it can help you to not just identify your risk, but manage your documents and make sure that you have everything together for a solid application. And all else fails, there's legal assistance available on the platform that you can get in contact and have a consultation with a lawyer to address any questions reviewing your application before you hit that submit button. But you definitely want to be making sure that you have everything together before you submit. You can even check your risk radar. Select your country of citizenship. Okay. You're from Benin. You can say you're from Jamaica. Let's go Nigeria. 78% refusal rate from Nigeria. And I am going to study at George Brown. So overall, half of the people who apply from my country to this school get refused. And so now I want to go in, know your odds, try it. So you want to go ahead and create an account. So we're going to go ahead and sign up. You can check your risk score for free on Student Visa Express platform. And if you want to use it to go ahead and get your application done, help you to write your statement of purpose and overcome your risks, you can get it for 10% off using my code as told by, that ASTOLDBY, and it should come up on screen somewhere here. So head over to Student Visa Express, go ahead and check to see what it looks like for you to submit a full application free of risks and submit that application. And remember, if you submit it using exactly what Student Visa Express helped you to do and it still gets refused, they will give you your money back, 100% guarantee. Now, once the paperwork is handled, it's done. The bigger question maybe for you is, should I stay in Canada at all? In my last video, I walked you through what my plan would be if I had to redesign it. In this video, I showed you how to avoid student visa rejections and to apply for your student visa extension from here inside Canada. And what if you did already study again and it didn't work out as planned? In the next video, we're gonna have an honest conversation about immigration options, including when staying in Canada makes sense and when leaving might actually be the best thing for your immigration plan. We're gonna talk about options that nobody wants to say out loud. Do I stay? Do I pivot? Or do I leave? I've shown you that I am staying and I'm pivoting based on my application. But if it comes to that, what does it look like if I have to leave? Not under panic, not under pressure, but we're going to be going through a brutally honest checklist for navigating what comes next. So make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and have the notification bell on for when that video drops. Remember to go and check what your risk score is over on Student Visa Express by our sponsor, Immigrant Global AI. Use the code as told by to get 10% off to go and fortify your study permit application to reduce the risk of getting rejected. And share this video with somebody who you think it will help based on where they are in their journey in Canada. I appreciate you for watching. Remember to like, and I will see you in the next video where we're going to go through the brutally honest checklist of if you should leave Canada.